And now comes the time to fit the neck. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a drawbar technique. We're going to get the neck in place as tight as we can. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these holes, and then when I take the neck out to drill it, I'm going to move the holes up towards the headstock about 1/2 mil. So what that's going to do is, as it goes into the hole, the screw is not going to be lined up with the hole, so it will pull the neck further in. So those holes are marked up. I'm just going to put the body to one side for a minute, and then we're going to drill these holes. So what we're going to do is we're going to move them just a fraction backwards, literally just to the edge of the hole that's already there, the mark that we've already made. And that should be plenty deep enough. So I'm going to do the other 4, and then we will stick the neck in. We have 3.5 mil holes backed up by 4 mil holes, and we'll have a plate there as well. So if I pop this into place, remembering that the hole is tapered and you need to be pushing towards the body. We get that as far in as physically possible already, and then we also managed to find a nice gold plate to match with everything else we've got. And then I have been a mechanic and an engineer and everything else in the past, so I already know that you should always do your screws up in diagonals, so 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm not going to go all the way, I'm going to go just till they bite. And as I said to you before, my personal preference is to do the last few turns by hand, because then I can feel just how tight it's going. I have this horrible little screwdriver, but it takes my tips really well. Fit nice and tight. And the neck is in the body. I think at this point I need to figure out where my controls are going to go in my scratch plate, and then we need to think about installing the electrics for the XY, for the chaos pad. So I will go and get all the bits together and we'll get ready to do that next. Just getting ready to fit the strings on this. What we need to do first is raise up the saddle pieces. It's easier to lower them than it is to raise them, and also if they're all the way down we risk hitting the pickup and the neck and scratching everything before we even get started. Hey, we are strung up. We have gone back out of tune again, but we are strung up. Now we're getting ready to install the electronics. I need to obviously drill some holes I have marked out already. I think you can just about see that. I just use this as a guide. Obviously half the plate is going to be this anyway, so I just marked up the same spaces. I might move I think I might move this rotary a bit further up to even the spacing out a little bit. I think it might look a little bit better. But what we're going to do after discovering this earlier on with the knackered PCB, we're going to put in a pair of matching pots. These are the pots that we sell. So we've got a matching pair to go in there. We also have an orange drop to replace the cheapy little cap that was in there. This is not your standard orange drop. These are beefy, real monsters. Great bits of kit. Privileged to finally get to work with some decent electronics, unlike the cheap crap that I had to buy when I was doing my business myself. We're going to use the jack that came with it, but we are going to replace the plate with the gold one, so we match all of our hardware. And we are going to use the switch that came with it because it's a switch. So I'm going to go and drill some holes.
Howard can't be here, and we're under some time constraints, so I'm going to finish putting the control plate together. I'll drill those at the correct size. So this is the difficult bit. I've always hated making these slots, but a jeweler's saw and a fine blade and a decade of practice should see me go right. The trick is to take this very slow. And I'm leaving myself room for a file. There we go. You don't need to see me drilling many holes, but I'm going to go and get a small file and clean that up now. A very thin file. This guitar is going to be featured in Premier Guitar magazine because of the XY Mini Pad installation that I'm doing, and I felt that this little bit of plastic was a bit little and plasticky, so I'm going to make something a little bit nicer using this piece of Macassar ebony. I would have Howard doing this, but again, I'm now trying to catch up with the magazine article, stroke deadline. Oh, that's going to look gorgeous. Now, I'm not going to leave this a boring, flat pickups around. There's going to be carving and racing stripes. I've been wanting to do this for years. It's the smallest little details that take a guitar from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Oh, that sounds so cliched. So here is my new pickup surround. I've been tweeting the photos as I do on Facebook and Twitter and all that, and well, somebody saw that and came into work. In fact, this is the day off and everybody's coming, which is rather amusing. Anyway, Howard realised at 10 to midnight last night that he had mislabelled this switch wiring wise, and it was wrong, so he's come in to rewire that. Normally I would say do the wiring with the pots and switches etc. actually in the scratch plate, In this case that's not viable because I'm going to be installing the XY mini pad stuff in that same scratch plate. In that same scratch plate. So yes, anyhow, onwards and upwards.